This property is a nightmare property, and I'm gonna take you through the deal so you don't make the same mistakes that I did, because it ended up costing me a lot of money. You know, I read a lot of books that say, you know, every real estate investor has one really bad deal. This is mine. So I want you guys to learn from my mistakes. This is not something to teach you in business books or even something to talk about in real estate books. So I want you guys to learn from my mistakes so you don't make the same mistakes as I did, because it was very expensive. Let's take a look inside. All right, so we're walking in right now. So I bought this property my senior year in college. And so this was my third property that I was buying. I made the money to buy the properties from the businesses I was running in college. And so what happened with this property, so the reason I bought this property, I was working with a contractor at the time. And this contractor kept telling me, hey, you gotta buy something in Detroit, you gotta buy something in Detroit, you're gonna make so much money. And so I said, all right, find me a deal. So he found me this property and he was like, look, this is the first time that I didn't find my own deal. He was like, look, I promise we'll get everything done for $5,500 and we'll get it done in 2 weeks. Then you can rent it out and you're gonna be good to go. You're gonna make a lot of money on this deal. I said, okay. So typically when I buy a property, the first thing I do is I get a property inspection done by a private inspector. This time I didn't do that. I took my contractor's word for it, and that one ended up biting me in the butt. I mean, it was a horrible idea. Never, never, never buy a property without your own private property inspector. So I walked through the property with my contractor. He was like, look, the property's in pretty good shape. All we gotta do is do some cosmetic work. You're gonna be good to go. He said, don't even worry about getting a city inspection yet. Get it when we're done and you'll be fine. So later I go to find out that the reason my contractor was really pushing me to get this deal is because he needed money, and so he just wanted any deal where he would get paid. So I bought the property, and I paid him some money and he starts doing work. 2 weeks go by, which is what he said it was gonna take to complete the deal. And he was like, yo, I need some more time. There's a little bit more work than I thought, but don't worry, we're gonna get it done. So okay, a couple more weeks go by, I go to the property to see what's going on, because now it's been like a month and nothing has been done. Nothing's been done. And I don't have a contract between me and my contractor. That's another mistake. Always get a contract signed between you and your contractor, no matter how close of a relationship you have. I worked with him a couple times before and I had no issues, but this time he just wasn't getting anything done. So you always want to get a contract between you and your contractor, no matter how many deals you've done, and have an attorney help you with that contract. So now it's a month and nothing's been done. I start calling this dude, like, yo, what's going on? He's like, yo, I got you. Anyways, another month goes on, pretty much nothing's been done. Like, they painted the walls and like it's been like pretty much nothing, essentially. And so now, like, I'm getting heated. I'm like, dude, what the heck? I paid you this money. I got money invested in this property. You're not doing anything. We're not getting anything done. And so, you know, he starts becoming unresponsive. And so at this point, I'm like, okay, I need to do something. I have this property. I can't just have it sit here vacant. I need to get somebody else to do the work. So at that same time, I owned a commercial property, or I'm a part owner in a commercial property where I had an on-site manager that I guess he wasn't doing too good of a job. People were complaining about him. He was causing issues. He was starting fights. Like he wasn't doing a good job. So I, being the smart person I am, said, hey, I'll take that manager off that property and bring him into my property. The guy that can't do the work there, let me put him in my property. So I made a deal with him. So you can see it's not going well. I put him in here and I said, hey, look, I'll give you free rent if you do the work. He said, okay. So he starts living here and I'm like, yo, how long is it gonna be? He's like, give me a couple months just because I have other things going on. I said, all right. And now keep in mind, I've had this property for months now. I haven't gotten a single rent payment. I've been paying out of my pocket for everything. And so I get this guy to come live in my property. And now he's living in my property and he's not doing any work. He's living here for free. And so now I'm like, what's going on? He's like, oh, I need some money for supplies. So I start paying for Home Depot bills for him to get stuff done. Then I find out that the supplies he's buying from Home Depot are not being used on my property, they're being used on other people's property, and I don't have a lease with him in place. I just put him in my property because I thought, hey, what can go wrong in this situation? So I put him in my property without a lease. Now I have to figure out how I can evict the guy because he's not only not doing the work, he did a little bit of work, but everything he did was horrible, like horrible work. Like it's something that's just horrible quality work, like just horrible. And so now I gotta figure out how I can get him out. So I start talking to my managers, my property managers, and how we can get him out. So we start threatening him. It's like, look, you gotta leave the property, else we're gonna file suit. We're gonna, you know, call the sheriff, do all these things. Finally get him out another month later or so. So now I don't know how many months it's been. It's been a long time, and it's just been sucking up money. And then after he moves out, we come into the property, and you see his property has been destroyed. I mean, he not only did he not take care of the property, he just destroyed the property. There was, I don't know what he did, but there were like feces in the property. He had a dog that he was not taking care of. It was just bad. It was disgusting. So now, not only have I spent all this money on supplies, repairs, contractor work, all this stuff, my property is in worse shape now than when I got it. So then I hire a new contractor. I finally get a new contractor. So guys, always work with a licensed and insured contractor. I will never, ever again work with a contractor who is not licensed or insured because of this very reason. It costs more. It costs more to get the work done, but you do not want to deal with this type of headache. Got a new contractor in here, and so he's cost more, but he got the work done. He made it look nice. We had to redo the work that my first contractor did, redo the work that my second contractor did, so it's extremely expensive. Now we're like, okay, the property looks good. Let me get the city inspector out here, because what you need to do when you have a rental property, an investment property, you need to let the city know that you have an investment property here and that you're gonna put tenants in here. So a lot of times cities have their own inspections. Call out the city inspector, and so the city of Detroit has been, especially when I bought this property, we're struggling a lot financially. So city inspectors, you know, this is kind of their way of, this is their way of making money by issuing permits. So now the city wanted us to pretty much do everything new on this property. Like they wanted us to redo the plumbing, to redo the mechanical, to redo the electrical, like to redo everything on the property. It was a lot of work. So then we're getting this work done, and we find out that for some reason our drains are not clogging, our drains are not working. The water is not going down the drains. So I'm gonna take you guys to the basement. So what happened was, we did some research and we found out that somebody living in this property beforehand took cement and they poured cement down the drain. I guess this is something that happens when tenants don't like their landlords in certain areas. If you enjoyed this short clip from my longer videos, here's another clip that I think you'll love. And while you're at it, if you're interested in learning more about how to start generating passive income, our team put together an amazing guide on how to start generating passive income for free. All you gotta do is click that button right over there. Thank you for watching, and as always, keep hustling.